Hey guys, G.I. Rolly here one more time with something a little different. I get asked a lot of questions. I'm part of the G.I. Joe Collectors Club Canada. Great group, by the way. And a lot of the guys there have questions for me about classified because, let's face it, not every G.I. Joe fan is a fan of the classified line. Some of them are curious, some of them are interested, and some of them, well, just want to know. And I love answering those questions because I've sort of made it my thing. Funny story, which I guess I'll share with you guys, is that I initially was not interested in this line. I started looking into G.I. Joe again in 2020. I think a lot of us did, and found some of my old Joes. I'm very excited to see them again. Brought back a lot of great childhood memories. And I walked into a retail store and found some modern 375, 3 3/4. Thought they were extremely expensive, especially the retail price here in Canada was almost $20, I believe. But I couldn't resist. I believe it was Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, the first two that I found, part of the exclusive Walmart retro line. Not too long after that, I walked down the aisle and I saw, I believe, Gun Ho and Cobra Commander in the classified line. I admit they look cool. But when I saw the price tag, $30, with taxes, we're looking at $35. There was no way I was paying $35 for an action figure, no matter how much I love G.I. Joe. Well, I'll fast forward months later when somebody was looking for some action figures. I believe it was Duke and Scarlet. I picked them up for them, and I had them in my house for about a week. I was just staring at them every once in a while, and what can I say? I was bit by the bug. And the next thing I knew, I spent the next few weeks and months chasing all the figures that I had missed, of course, paying second market prices. I think you guys know what that's about. So maybe double retail for some of them. Let's not talk about exclusives later. And well, I've been collecting ever since. So I've been loving it. As you guys know, I've been also spending some time helping collectors catch up and, fill out their collection. So today we're just going to spend some time on some of the first ones. So I'm hoping this is the first of a series. I don't know how it'll be received. I know that some of these might be basic questions that I'm going to give answers to that some of you already know. Maybe there's something there that you guys didn't know. Maybe there's something I missed that you guys think I should mention. You can maybe add it in the comments so that other people can read about it, and maybe I'll touch on it again in a future video. So for now, let's just get started and talk about what the line looked like, what the first wave was. So the first wave was 5 figures, which are these 5 here that you can see. The next wave included Cobra Commander, but maybe we'll do a separate video for those. I don't know how long I want these to be. So just want you to know that as I'm going, I have no idea exactly where I'm going or what I'm going to talk about exactly. But I'll try to fill in as much as I can as things come to mind. So obviously Snake Eyes was probably one of the first ones that I got in hand. And he's one of the first ones for many people. Because let's face it, Snake Eyes is one of the most popular figure. There's been many Snake Eyes released since then. And I know that's been a complaint or a pain point for a few collectors. Do we really need 8, 9, 10 different Snake Eyes releases? They keep making them. Somebody's buying them. So I'm guessing that yes, everybody needs as many Snake Eyes as they can get, I guess. But technically, number 01, as you know, these are numbered. If you're not aware, all of the classified have a number. The retros don't. We'll go get into that later. Yes, I believe that the retro are part of the classified line. Some people have said, no, it's not really. But again, more stuff to talk about later, right? So the classified line, the official number 1 is this guy, Roadblock. It's a modern look. Many people feel that It's inspired by a video game that came out around the same time. I believe it was called Operation Blackout. I'll try to correct it later if I can remember, or somebody can maybe also correct it in the comments. But all the figures look like they do in that game. So whether it was on purpose that they coordinated, or did the figures get inspired by the game, or did the game get inspired by the figures, I'm not sure. Maybe something worth looking into. But this is what they look like, and they all have like this little communication device, I guess. I'll try to get some close-ups in a little later, but every single figure in the beginning have like this little communicator somewhere around the shoulder, which was, you know, in the game as well. So first figure, number one here, is Roadblock. We then had Snake Eyes, then Destro, Duke, and Scarlet. Now, as you may have noticed when I picked them up, there's another figure behind them. And that's because one of the fun parts, I guess, of Classified has been what we call variants. So many figures have variants, which means it's another release that is very similar, but has a difference, a variance of some kind that makes people want to get it, for those who would like being completist, you know, someone that just wants to make sure I've got every version that's ever been released. So I'll start with that, and then we'll take a peek at the first exclusive, which came very early on. Now, the exclusive also has a number, and it's number 00, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, I'm excited. So all of these, as I mentioned, have a number: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, for some reason, they decided to release the same first wave, but with some changes. Some of the changes, I think, was based on feedback. So, for example, Roadblock, Duke, and Scarlet have a variant where the paint applications have more muted colors, maybe look less sci-fi-ish, less modern, a bit more of the classic look. These are not new molds. All right, so instead of just, I guess, talking about it, let me show you, because I'm kind of visual myself. So the first ones to have a variant are Roadblock, Duke, and Scarlet. And I don't know if you can see well here. I'll try to put some more close-ups later. There was a different version that came out with slightly different colors. They didn't make a big deal out of it. They didn't get a different number. There's nothing on here that says, you know, version 1A or anything of the sort, or version 2. They are pretty much the same, except for the fact that, as you can see here, the colors are slightly different. As you can see, the colors are a bit more muted on one of them. So, you know, pretty much all the gold has been taken out of Roadblock. And same can be said for Duke. So this is the original Duke. And as you can see, especially in the legs, that's where it's most noticeable. The shins have a different color to them, darker. Scarlet still has some yellow, some gold, but a lot of the light blue was taken out. So that's the variation there, in the sense that it's similar to the first release, but not quite the same. Snake Eyes also has a variant. This here is the first release of Snake Eyes. Now here I have an empty box because I actually took out Snake Eyes. So he's slightly different. And the figure itself, again, mold-wise and everything, is pretty much the same. But the difference is that the figure, the original release, has like this slight red we call it a red dot, but it's not really a dot. It's almost like a line just over the visor. And you can tell also quickly how the new box, if the figure were still in it, notice how there's a knife here, right? He's got his scabbard, sword, and a knife. The new box does not have a place for the knife. That's because the new one came with his knife already there, already, you know, in its sheath, I guess you would say. And again, no red dot on his forehead, just above the visor. That was the variation with Snake Eyes. And there is also Destro. Destro has a slight variation. It's really not very well known. I don't think it's very documented. A few people know. But for some reason, they released another Destro where the mold of the head is slightly different. If you look carefully at the first release, there seems to be like a circle on his head above the forehead. Don't know what that is. Don't know what it's supposed to be. Don't know if it was an error or not. But later releases did not have that. I don't know how it happened, but basically the entire first wave has a variant, a version 1 and a version 2. A few websites cover this. I'm sure you can look it up. Again, I'm very happy to answer questions. Feel free to find me on Instagram, GI Rolly. I do believe that's my handle. Just GI Rolly with dots in between the G and the I. And you know, look me up on Facebook. Look me up in, you know, some of the GI Joe fan groups. And I'll be happy to answer questions. But really, these are the big variants. And another quick figure that I want to talk about is this bad boy. So this was number 00. That's right, they had to go backwards, and I think it works. Snake Eyes. It is gorgeous. This was one figure that I decided I did not want. Why? Because obviously I missed in its original release. And to this day, it is still one of the most expensive figures to buy in the second market. So back then, the figure was selling for over $100, $150. And I said, there's no way I'm paying $150 to $200 for an action figure. Now, I had the blessing of doing a trade at some point with a wonderful gentleman. And I got this figure. I think I'm glad I hadn't seen it in person before, because I probably would have paid the amount that it was back then. And obviously the price has gone up since then. But just having it in your hand, this thing is big. I don't think they've made another package like this since then. I don't think any other figure has had this kind of deluxe feel to it. I mean, there's been some great packaging, some great figures, some really nice releases, but I don't think there's ever been a single figure that's gotten this kind of treatment. I mean, this is just a slipcover. I take this off, and oof, I don't even know if the camera can capture the beauty of this thing. For all I know, you're just getting glare, but this thing is gorgeous. There's an image here, and there's relief, there's a texture, you can feel it, I want to hug this thing. It's beautiful. I mean, this was really a deluxe figure. And when you open it, you know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I should open it. I mean, I don't know what I can say. This thing is beautiful. So guys, I'll take a break here and hope this helped a little bit. Classified is growing. It's doing well. It started in 2020 and it is now going strong with about 141 figures released already available. Some still at retail, some obviously have been maybe discontinued or retired, but you can always find with your friendly neighborhood reseller somewhere. But I am very excited about this line. There's a lot of cool things coming, but we'll take a break here and hope this helped answer a few basic questions. Yo, Joe.